Hello, welcome back to the JDA podcast, episode 4, match week 8. In the latest news, Kevin De Bruyne has suffered a groin injury against Everton and will miss the game against Dinamo Zagreb.
Recent studies have shown that Phil Foden has only had 10 minutes playing time this season for Manchester City in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola has admitted that he has apologised to Phil Foden and he deserves more game time, but City have a lot of squad depth in midfield thanks to the new arrival of Rodri. Also, recent studies have shown that James Maddison has created 111 chances so far in the Premier League season, 12 more than any other player.
Serge Gnabry has scored as many goals at the new Spurs stadium as Harry Kane has, with 4. Also, Willian has had 300 appearances for Chelsea. And Tammy Abraham's goal, assisted by Tomori, was Chelsea's first in the Champions League and scored and assisted by 2 English players since March 2012. Also, since the start of last season, Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold have assisted 34 goals between them.
Also, Bayern Munich and Everton are the only 2 teams to have scored more than 1 goal at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with the likes of Man City also failing to.
David Silva has also become the fastest player to reach 200 Premier League wins, and he's done it in 289 appearances, with people like John Terry with 305, Petr Cech with 310, Ryan Giggs with 315, and Ashley Cole with 318.
Also, the Champions League was back this week. Some of the surprise results were Club Brugge scoring 2 at the Bernabeu to draw 2-2 with Real Madrid. Their striker scored twice and proceeded to do the Ronaldo celebration while he scored, which didn't go down too well with the Real Madrid fans. Manchester City eventually managed to score 2 goals against Dinamo Zagreb after failing to in the first half. A shock result for Tottenham as they lose 7-2 to Bayern at their stadium, with Serge Gnabry scoring 4 goals.
Harry Kane's penalty was really good, by the way.
Yeah, and Liverpool being 3-0 up after about half an hour at Anfield, managed to concede 3 goals in a short space of time, 1 just before half time and then 2 just after it.
The first 15 minutes of that second half, Liverpool just couldn't defend whatsoever.
And then I think it was Mo Salah who got his second goal of the game to finally get the victory for Liverpool. Chelsea beat Lille at Lille with Tammy Abraham and Willian scoring. Willian's goal was insane, got it on the edge of the box, I think it was a volley. And Barcelona managed to beat Inter Milan 2-1 at the new camp, 1-0 behind. Then Luis Suarez getting a double, both late on in the second half.
Premier League predictions for match week 8. The first game is at 12:30 at the Amex Stadium, and it's Brighton versus Tottenham. I think 1-0 Tottenham.
I'm probably going to go 1-0 because of Tottenham's bad late form.
The next game is Norwich versus Aston Villa. For me, this is going to be quite a high goal scoring match, so I reckon 2-2.
Norwich have been scoring a few goals, but they've also been conceding a few, so I'm going to go 1-1. The next game is Watford at home to Sheffield United, Watford being bottom of the league. And Sheffield United pulling off a few good results lately, so I'm going to go 1-0 Sheffield United.
I think Sheffield United should have got at least a point last week out of Liverpool, so I reckon 2-0 Sheffield United.
Then the next game is Burnley versus Everton at Turf Moor. Everton have won quite a few of their last meetings at Turf Moor by quite a lot. 5-1 the latest score there, but I think it's going to be 1-1 this time.
I think Burnley will just edge it and get a last-minute winner, 2-1 Burnley. The next game is Liverpool versus Leicester at Anfield. Liverpool have won 4-3 in the Champions League this week. But although the defence did look dodgy near the second half, but they managed to come through. So I reckon 2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, Leicester have been playing well lately, and in the Premier League, and Liverpool have not been playing that well, but they've still been getting results. So I'm going to go 1-1 and Liverpool to lose their first 2 points. So yeah. The next game's West Ham at home to Crystal Palace. Both teams have had quite an average start, probably West Ham the better. So I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham.
West Ham have looked good and they're at home, so I reckon 3-0 West Ham. The next game is on the Sunday, which is at 2 o'clock. Southampton versus Chelsea. Chelsea won in midweek as well against Lille with Willian's great goal. So I reckon a 2-0 win for Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea have not been playing the best, but they've been winning, so I'm going to go 1-0 Chelsea.
Next game is also at the 2 o'clock kickoff, and it's Man City versus Wolves. City won 3-1 last week and won 2-0 in midweek. They should win this, but Wolves are a good counter-attacking side, but haven't started well. But I think City will still dominate and win 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 to Man City. Then it's Arsenal at home to Bournemouth. Arsenal, who haven't been playing that well of late, got a few results at the start of the season, so they're doing alright. And Bournemouth have lost a few games now, so I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal.
Ooh, I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal because I know Bournemouth have had a decent start to the season, and Callum Wilson I think will score for them. The next game is Newcastle versus Man United at St James's Park at the 4:30 kickoff. United are actually playing tonight. It's a Thursday against AZ Alkmaar. They should win that, but they were played on Monday against Arsenal and won. No, they drew. 1-1. But Arsenal near to the end should have probably got another because United's defence was shocking, and Scott McTominay did score a really good goal for us. And then it was the offside controversial stuff. But I think United will win 2-1.
Yeah, United haven't been playing that well lately. Just getting a win in the Europa League and then edging a win at home to, who was it?
Who's this?
In the cup.
Oh, Rochdale 5-3 on penalties.
Oh yeah. But then they get a draw to Arsenal, so I'm gonna go 1-0 United.
We've got a new part to the podcast, and it's called the Arsene Wenger Award, which is basically for the most controversial thing that's happened in the week, and controversial goes with Arsene Wenger, so we've called it the Arsene Wenger Award. The award this week goes to Isaac Hayden for the tackle on Dennis Pratt that could have possibly ended his career. It was that bad, but he didn't see a problem with it, and he was just moaning off to the ref, and he was moaning till he got off the pitch. So the award goes to him. Well done.
Yeah.
In the podcast, now it's time for the debate, and the debate this week is about Phil Foden's playing time. So Alex, what do you think?
Well, I think for big teams like Man City, it's kind of hard to play younger players because you're at a risk of losing points, and if you lose points, it's harder to do well in the league. But for smaller teams such like Norwich, Brighton, Bournemouth, they can play younger players and have breakthrough players that can do a job in their team. But for teams like Man City, it's kind of, do you play them and risk losing, or do you not play them and risk them not growing to their full potential? So
yeah, my opinion is I think loan's wrong for Phil Foden. I don't think he should go on loan because it's just a bit of wasted talent. But you should see teams like United and Chelsea, and they're starting their youth, and look how well it's doing for them. I know City have won however many games in the second, but I think Foden isn't just somebody who's like a sub-youth. he's more of a starting youth because he's that talented. I mean, I saw him pass the other day, and it was in between two players, and to the winger, and it was just an amazing pass. It was a bit like Kevin De Bruyne, but about the same. So I think he should start. I mean, he scored a goal in midweek against Dinamo Zagreb, and Sterling's even come out and said, I think this kid should start a bit more. Guardiola said, as you heard before, he needs more playing time, and Guardiola says it's the best player, one of the best players he's ever worked with, if not the best, and he's worked with Messi, of all people.
Also, I think that it's a risk if City were to loan him out, because you see it with younger players like in Everton, Nikola Vlasic and Ademola Lookman. They got sent on loan, Ademola Lookman to Germany, and when he came back, he wasn't playing to his full potential because he wanted to go back to Germany, and that's like a real risk, losing your young talent for City. So,
but do you not think? I mean, he was born quite close to Manchester in Stockport, and he supported the club the whole of his life. But people like Lookman, who were born in London, didn't really know what it was to be like an Evertonian. So do you reckon that'll have an effect on if they stay or go, because they love the club so much?
Well, I don't think it's more that the people inside the club rather than the club, because like you see it with other players like Richarlison. He left Watford because he really liked working with Marco Silva, not because he didn't like the Watford as a club. He liked working with Marco Silva, so that might change Phil Foden's mind if he likes working with Guardiola.
Just in case you didn't notice, Joe wasn't here this week. So that's the end of the JDA podcast episode 4, match week 8. Hopefully your Premier League teams or other teams have a good weekend and win, and hopefully you get a lot of points on fantasy, because I know I will, because I'm going to captain Heung-min Son.